Our irons have a safety feature on it, so if no one uses the iron, I think it's like 3 minutes or 8 minutes or something, it turns off automatically. So when you go up to the iron, if you see it's in its holder and it has a flashing light like that, it means it's on standby, so it's not heated up. So in order to engage the iron, just put it down on the ironing board and you'll notice that this bigger light on the side lights up. That means that it's heating up. It's like your oven at home. It means that the temperature is coming up. When the temperature comes on and that light goes off, then this light won't be flashing anymore and this will just be on, and you'll know that the iron is heated up and it's ready to go. After you sew your inseams on your pajama pants, you need to press the seam open. We're using 100% cotton flannel. So that light's off now. I know it's heated up and this light's on. Make sure that this lever is over here for steam. We want to have steam when we're ironing the pant leg. So in order to press the seam open, you have to readjust the pant. So you have to open it up this way so that you have your seam like that. Then go ahead and finger press that seam open. And then I use the nose of the iron. Just wiggle it down there and flatten out that seam. So if you get to the ironing board and you notice that the iron is low on water, go ahead and fill it up for the next person. So press that seam open, and now we're going to go and put a zigzag finish on all of those. Okay, we're going to zigzag finish the seam allowance. So that means you're only going through one layer of fabric. Be careful that you don't get another part of the pajama pant stuck underneath there. So change your stitch width to, I don't know, like 4. Let's say 4. Let's try 4. I'm going to make the stitch width a little smaller, like 2. And where you want to line this up is the inside corner of the presser foot. You don't need to back stitch on this. Oops. Ooh. See, I started in a little too close and it sucked my fabric down in there. So I had to pull it out a little bit. So you're actually going over the edge of the seam allowance. I'm going to stop here to show you what it looks like. So it might get a little puckery like that. Don't worry about that, because afterwards you're going to go back and press it flat again. Here's a close-up of the zigzag finished seam allowance. You're going to do that 4 times because you have 2 seam allowances on each pant leg and 2 pant legs, so you're going to do that 4 times total. Okay, both legs are sewn and the seams have been pressed open. All of the seam allowances have been seam finished with a zigzag stitch, and then you have to press it again to get it nice and flat. So we're ready for step number 3. This can be confusing, but it's really very simple. So what I try to do when I'm looking at pattern directions is I read them and I look at the picture. This says, with right sides together, insert one leg inside the other. So really important, this is what will help you with this, is see how one leg is inside out and one leg is right side out. So I always try to hold my fabric pieces the way that the picture looks. So I have one leg here that's inside out, and I have my other leg here that is right side out. And all they're telling us to do is to take and insert one leg inside the other. So I'm going to reach up through the bottom here to grab it and slide it down. And the first thing that you'll want to do is match the inseam. So once you get it in there, it's face to face. Match the seam. Let's see, where are my pins? Okay, there they are. You want to make sure that the seams are pressed open and that they're going to stay open when you stitch them. So again, when you're matching up 2 things to each other, match up the seam first. Then we have our notches. I'm going to match those up. I'm going to pin perpendicular. And then I need to match up at the very top. I need to match here. Then you can go ahead and in between the notch and there, make those edges even and pin it. Go back to the other side. Match up the top. match the notch. So you match what needs to match to end up with the even at the top. Then you do your notches, and then you go in between there and you match up your other edges. So we basically have, if you can see it, I can't tell, this U shape. And we're going to stitch that at 5/8. It tells you to stitch it 2 times. So you stitch once at 5/8 and you stitch another seam right on top of it to reinforce it. We're still on step number 4. We've stitched a 5/8 inch seam, and to reinforce the seam we stitched again over the first stitching. The last step of number 4 is to trim the seam in the curved area to 1/4 inch and press the remaining seam open. So this curved area is here. By trimming it, it makes it easier to move. So just clip about where the notch is and carefully cut through. Sorry, you can't see what my hand's doing. Cut through both seam allowances. It's like when we trim the wallet. And you trim all the way around to the other notch. So you have a 1/4 inch left here. We know where the front of the pant is now because we have our buttonholes here. So you can go ahead and get rid of the notches. So we've trimmed away the curved area, gotten rid of the notches. You're going to press the center front seam open. You'll press the center back seam open. We'll zigzag finish these the same way we did on the leg, but on this part that you trimmed, you're going to zigzag finish this edge all together in one piece. Okay, so I pressed the seams open on the front and the back. We have to finish those, but the part that we've trimmed, this curved area that we've trimmed in here, that's going to be zigzag finished. So remember to change the stitch width, and then I'm going to line up the edge of the presser foot. Whoops. And then those are going to be done together. This is what the crotch seam will look like when it's all finished. The area that was trimmed has been zigzagged together, and then the seams above where we didn't trim have been pressed open. Now here's the exciting part. It's going to be hard because it all won't fit on this camera, but you turn it around, pull one leg out from the other, and there we go. We have pant legs. Looks like a pair of pants. Now it's time to make the casing for the elastic and hem the pants and then the drawstring.